What's up, my Jazzy Gamers? How are y'all doing? I recently did a community post and I told you guys to give me your Fortnite hot takes because I want to do a series on my channel just dedicated to people's Fortnite opinions. Fortnite is an absolutely huge game with thousands and thousands of different opinions you can have on the skins, the cosmetics, the games, the gameplay. So guys, I welcome you to episode 1 of Fortnite's Jazziest hot takes. And again, just keep in mind that these are all my own opinions and everyone's own opinions. So if you disagree, make sure to go into the comments and we can hash it out there. And just overall, make sure to be nice about it. Let's get into it, my Jazzy Gamers. And if you guys want a chance for your comments to be in one of my future videos, then make sure to check the community posts where I post and ask you guys for your hot takes. Hot take 1, I enjoyed Primal, and hot take 2, Season X was one of the best seasons we've ever had. I'll go more in depth about Primal a little bit later in the video, but if you enjoyed a certain season, then that's not a hot take, you know what I mean? You can enjoy what you want to enjoy and be fine with it, you know what I mean? But yeah, Primal was definitely a giant controversial mess, so we'll get into that when we get into that a little bit later on. And Season X being one of the greatest Fortnite seasons of all time, I don't know if I can say that. It was really fun, I admit. Like, a lot of the weapons in the loot pool were really good. It was still on the Chapter 1 map that had, like, all the different changes and everything, so it was really fun. But the mechs, again, the mechs were fun. They just ruined normal gameplay, you know what I mean? Like, I know I hate talking about Season X and only talking about the mechs, but it was really the worst thing about that season. Everything else, I admit, was really fun. I liked the whole locations mechanic where they would change, like they had Tilted Town where you can't build, and they had the Borderlands area. Like, that was really cool. But, again, the mechs were there, so it definitely can't be one of the best, but it was still really solid. I think that Chapter 5 wasn't bad, and the map was actually good. The map was definitely extremely good in Chapter 5. It had a lot of really fun locations. It wasn't so open, but it wasn't too enclosed either. It had good mountains, it had good biomes, especially nearing the end. Like, it had so much variety. The map was freaking amazing. But the whole thing about Chapter 5 being bad, like, it's definitely not a bad chapter. It just had a lot of bad stuff in it. Chapter 5's balance was just so out of whack all the time. Like, the first season, the Reaper Sniper and the Riot Shields were absolutely everywhere, and they destroyed so hard. So it was very annoying, to say the least. And don't even get me started on that goddamn Frenzy Auto Shotgun, because I will make an entire video just on that thing alone. And then Season 2, you had the chains and the bird wings and the lightning, and those things also really dominated, and it was just extremely hard to stay alive and have fun. And Season 3, we had the cars and the fists, like, oh my gosh, it was so annoying. And then in Season 4, we had the jetpacks and the dual Uzis and all of the Marvel stuff that was absolutely insane, including Dr. Doom, who was insane. It was just extremely polarizing all around. If you were a sweat, you hated all of these new crap that, you know, unskilled players can use and kill you easily. If you were a casual, you might have liked all that stuff, but you also hated the sweats using it on you because, you know, you can't do anything against it without, you know, the items themselves. That'll be the most in-depth that I go about it, but Chapter 5 wasn't a bad chapter. It was actually really fun, and I had a lot of fun times. And you can't just say an entire chapter is bad anyway. Just because there was a few bad stuff doesn't mean everything was bad, but it was, again, extremely polarizing and just unbalanced all around. So yeah, I can see both points of view. I like all three of these, but just because I was talking about Chapter 5, I'm gonna go with the first one. Wrecked was a pretty fun season. If you guys haven't seen my Chapter 5 Season 3 video, then I will tell you that I am one of the most biggest haters of the fists and the cars ever. I was pretty nice in that video and mainly talked about all the good stuff, but I will be honest, I hated the fact that the cars can one-shot you as soon as they run you over. I hated how powerful the fists are, and the nitro was just also extremely irritating to deal with. So if you hated Wrecked with all your heart, I could definitely see why. It was one of the most annoying seasons of all time. but I will be 100% honest, I will say I did have a lot of fun with it. Being on the receiving end of a 12-ton vehicle running you down was definitely extremely annoying, but being the person to drive the vehicle was really fun to just mow down unsuspecting people. And the locations were pretty fun. I liked Nitrodrome a lot, and it was just overall, if you didn't get on the receiving end of cars and fists every game, then you could definitely have some fun with it. But again, I can see both points of view really clearly. Chapter 5 Season 3 was the best season in Chapter 5.
Oh shit, here we go again.
To be honest, again, Chapter 5, every single season had their ups and downs, so there's a lot of arguments to be made about any of them being the best. But I just don't believe that it's the best season. It's fun, and it was really fun, and it could be a good time, but the best? Hell no. I personally think that Chapter 5 Season 2 was the best one of the 4. Although, again, it had its bullshit mythics and crazy stuff, the theme was still on top. The Battle Pass was supreme and superior to all the other Battle Passes here. The guns and loot pool were still very good, very balanced enough. That's when the Frenziato got nerfed a little bit. And I think it just brought better locations in. Like, what did Chapter 5 Season 3 bring? Just desert? That's it. But Chapter 5 Season 2, we had the awesome Underworld area and the legitimately awesome Olympus area, so it excelled. Chapter 5 Season 3 had a more mid battle pass, more mid theme, and overall, again, it was still fun, but Chapter 5 Season 2 was just on top in my eyes. Chapter 3 was actually really good and gets too much hate. Yes, 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 oh my gosh, this is what I've been saying for so freaking long. Chapter 3 was like in the middle of the era of people being like, Fortnite bad, Minecraft good, and I'm over here playing both, and I'm like, they're both really good, and Chapter 3 especially was a really solid time. Chapter 3 Season 1 had the amazing Foundation shenanigans and Spider-Man shenanigans too, the Daily Bugle and all the Spider-Man stuff. The loot pool was just amazing, the map was great, and I loved the locations a lot. Season 2 was actually still really fun, although it had the annoying tanks. Tanks weren't as bad to deal with as, say, the mechs or the cars later on, you know what I mean? So it was still a fun time. Season 3 was the chill vibe season with all the fun baller roller coasters and all of the amazing, like, trees and just magical stuff going on, and that was a really fun season too. And this was also the peak, the absolute peak of the Foundation and Agent Jones storyline with Dr. Sloan, and it was just such a great time to be into the lore of Fortnite. It was a really fun time, especially with the Dwayne Johnson reveal, and just overall, the entire 7 having, you know, been revealed and being able to do stuff on the map. It was really awesome. But I will say Chapter 3 Season 4 was one of the worst seasons we've ever had in all of Fortnite. The chrome was absolutely annoying and amounted to nothing. The weapons were not fun. Everything just sucked that season. The map looked terrible because of all the chrome, and the story wasn't that solid. Although I did like the paradigm and how she made the Chapter 4 map. That was pretty cool, but also the Chapter 4 map was pretty terrible. Everything about Chapter 3 Season 4 was pretty bad, but I will admit it does not take away from the entirety of Chapter 3 because Chapter 3 was really solid. Bag of Chips 123 is the best Fortnite YouTuber, but really though, my hot take is even though the season itself was bad, Chapter 6 Season 2's Battle Pass was absolute peak, and I will die on this hill. Agent Jonesy, Raz, Laura Croft, Raven, Cluck. Only downside is Neymar being the secret skin, but everyone else makes up for it. Best Fortnite YouTuber? Nah, I'm pretty terrible. My editing needs work, my thumbnails are awful, and I do everything unscripted, so I'm not the best at all. Sorry, mate, I think you meant Chapter 2 Season 6. It is really annoying, like, I always mix up chapters and seasons, but I kind of agree. Agent Jones is my main skin and probably my personal favorite skin of all of Fortnite. So the fact that he came from this battle pass is just shocking. And now we can finally talk about Primal, and I think, yeah, the season was pretty bad. The mechanical weapons were all extremely doo-doo and shit, and the Primal weapons were all extremely overpowered. I still liked the locations, though. Like, the map itself and locations were still fun during mid-Chapter 2, but this season, again, did not have that much fun potential. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of broken garbage, and actual broken garbage, because the mechanical weapons all suck. And the whole crafting mechanic to make side grades is just such an awesome concept that I wish they brought it back, because doing it with primal stuff really doesn't work. Like, I want to be able to have a revolver and craft it and side grade it into, like, a mammoth pistol. You know what I mean? That would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I think the Battle Pass was extremely solid. Again, Agent Jones was just amazing. Like, I freaking love him, and I wish he could be brought back to the item shop so other people can love him. Cluck is not my favorite, but he is really funny because it was during Easter time after all. Raven is a great skin, and I freaking love her a lot. Again, just wish she could come back to the item shop because people missed out on her. Same with Lara Croft. Like, Lara Croft is also an amazing skin, but again, it's a collab. Bring it back, Fortnite. Raz is also really solid, and we had Spire Assassin at tier 100, which, again, didn't rank really high in my tier 100 video, but she was still a very solid tier 100 skin. So, the Battle Pass was extremely good. I definitely agree with this hot take. This next one is going to be the final hot take, so if yours didn't get into the video, I'm very sorry, but I will make sure to try and grab it for next episode. And make sure, if you are watching, to comment some hot takes either in this comment section or on one of my community posts that I made for it, so you have a chance of getting your comment into my video. I pinned this one because this is my personal favorite. People only like Chapter 1 because of the nostalgia, not because of how good it was. This is probably the spiciest hot take of the entire video, and I both agree and disagree, because Chapter 1 was still really solid. Although the very beginning of it might have been extremely clunky, might have been pretty boring and not have as much quality of life updates, the earlier seasons were walking so that the rest of the game could run, you know what I mean? And not all of Chapter 1 was like that. Once Chapter 1 Season 5 hit, that's when the game started getting into its good flow. And then we had more fun updates in Season 6, 7, and 8. Seasons 9 and 10 weren't also that bad at all. But I can understand the blinded by nostalgia point just a little bit. Like, it does suck how people see all this amazing content and work that was put into the game nowadays and still be like, psh, it wasn't as good as back then. And I'm like, no, it's definitely not as good. It's way better. It might not have had as much good content as nowadays, but I can totally see that it felt better because of the nostalgia. And I do get nostalgic over early Chapter 1 because it was just, it felt better to play. You know what I mean? It felt good to have the boys that we played with back then, to be in the circumstances we were back then as opposed to now. Looking back at it through the rose-tinted glasses, it is definitely amazing. But taking those glasses off and realizing that, you know, the content nowadays might be better, it still doesn't mean Chapter 1 was bad whatsoever. Chapter 1 was still extremely solid, really fun, and the added bonus of looking back at it nowadays with nostalgia just makes it so much better. We might not have everything that we do have from Chapter 1, but we still have the memories, and I think that is good enough. But yeah, guys, that was episode 1 of Fortnite's Jazziest Hot Takes. Make sure you guys use code BAGOFCHIPS123 in the Fortnite item shop if you want to support me and support this series, because I low-key love listening to Fortnite hot takes. Again, if you got any hot takes, make sure to comment them down below, and I'll make sure to heart every single comment like I normally do. Again, if your comment didn't get into this video, it'll probably get into a future video, and everyone that comments now will probably have a better chance of getting into the next video. And all in all, make sure you guys just stay effing jazzy, my gamers.